Hello and thank you for joining me. Today I am going to give you an overview of the literacy cart that I have put together for what I'm going to call Cadets 1. And the reason I'm using that term is I know the term cadets is pretty familiar across our clubs, but cadets usually refers to 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. And in the world of literacy, that's a really big age range. And so I decided to go ahead and split that into two different groups. And so I'll have Cadets 1, which I'm thinking of 9 and 10-year-olds, and then Cadets 2 is more 11 and 12-year-olds. And so let me go ahead and get started here. I'll try and keep this quick. So the first thing you're going to notice is on the top shelf I've got a selection of books, and I will just pull out a few of those books so you can kind of take. Here's one, PSB 11. Let's see, what's this one? A Good Kind of Trouble, and The Astounding Broccoli Boy. Trying to find some Nate the Great. Do have a picture book on here, the other side. There's a couple of younger, right? King and Kayla. But something I want you to notice is that I tried very hard to find books that represent the members that we serve. So I hope when they come over to this cart and they start to look at the books, they see kids that look like them and they are interested and they want to grab. Now, you know your students better than I do, the kids that are coming to the club. So if these books are too high of a level, you might ask to use some of the books off of the PALS cart. Or, if you've got some more advanced readers and they're not interested, you could always borrow something off of Cadets 2's cart. So now I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the activities you see here. There is actually more coming that just didn't make it here in time. One of the very first things that I think the kids are going to love are these Storymaker magnets. And so there's just tons and tons of phrases in there. And so I went ahead and I did an example. These carts are magnetic, and so I don't know if you can read it, but it says, "On a sunny day, the pirate laughed at my mom because she barked at me." And the different colors kind of denote different parts of speech. So anyhow, I would highly encourage that these are out and on the cart, all of them, and that the kids can manipulate them and play with them. The next thing I want to show you are these cans. It's called Can Do, and these are games. And again, there are more that were supposed to come, but we have two. We have vocabulary right now, and we have one called Conventions. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Conventions game real quick, show you how it works. So on the top of the can is the spinner. So that's designed so that hopefully you don't lose it. And inside it's empty because I actually laid it out already. The directions are always going to be on the containers. That is the way that most of these materials are designed. Lakeshore Learning is the company that I ordered from, and they realize that instructions get lost all the time, so that's how they design them. So let's go ahead and get started here. These games are designed to be done without an adult in the picture. So you could have 2 or 3 kids sit down and go ahead and they spin the spinner and they get punctuation. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to come over here and oh, no, that's a good one. 2 free tokens. So there's a bag of tokens and they would get a token. Somebody else spins and they get spelling. So they pick up the spelling card, and I don't know if you'll be able to read it very well, but it says, "My brother didn't believe that I could do 20 push-ups, but I showed him what is the correct way to spell the underlined word in the sentence." And the word underlined is believe, and then there are 3 different spellings and an option of it is correct as is. So the kid would go ahead and make a guess, and they would say, I think it's C. And this is card number 18. You can see that up in the corner. So somebody else would grab the answer card, clearly labeled, somebody else on the team, and they would double check. This is spelling number 18. It is C, so that is correct. So you see the adult really isn't needed. Of course, you want to teach the game, but then beyond that, they will be able to play this all on their own. You would simply stack up these cards. You could put them back in. There is an envelope in there, which I will do later. And you put on your cover, and everything is contained. So that's the Can Do game. The next thing I will show you is the game of Hangman. Okay, and I have one of these open already, so I won't unwrap this one from the cellophane, but I'll bring you over here and I'll show you how this game is played. So, all of these letters flip, and this flips. Ours is pretty dirty because we've used it quite a bit. I actually have had this game for about 15 years. Now the original dry erase marker is long since gone. I used it in my classroom when I was a teacher, so any dry erase marker will do the trick. I'm thinking of a word, so I put down the number of spaces. This is a dry erase pad right here. I write it, and then you would guess. And so let's say you guess the letter C, and I would say, oh, nice job. There is a C. So I flip it over so that we know that that was used, and then I would put the letter C down here. And then you guess the letter O. And I would say, nah, sorry. So not only do I flip over the O, but now I flip over the head. And then continues, and you guess the letter L. And again, I say, sorry, no, and you continue in that way until you spell the word. So that is Hangman. That one is a really big favorite. The next thing I will show you is a folder game. I have 3 different boxes of folder games. In each folder game, there's a quick picture on the back, but there's approximately 8 to 10 different games in here, and each game is designed to be played independently. So this box is all vocabulary, but I also have a box here that's phonics and language skills, and this one is reading comprehension and grammar and writing. Now I will say it says grades 2 to 3, and you might have 4th graders in your room, but before you give away the box to a different grade level, I would go ahead and I would give it a try and see how the kids respond. It might be at the right level. If you find it's something on this card, if you find anything on this card that you believe is not age appropriate, please pass it along to one of the other cards. So if it's too easy, pass it down to the pals. If it's too difficult, pass it on to the Cadets 2 card. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out one of these folder games. And when they come, you do have a bunch of envelopes. Everything is color coordinated. So this says, let's jam. And the envelope says, let's jam. And you do have to sort this out in advance. This is the answer card. You want to try and either keep those or get the kids in the habit of not looking at them. And then there's little cards that are going to say, let's jam. So once these get opened the very first time, they'll never have to be opened again. I would even just discard the plastic. So what they do is they take one of these, and it says, I didn't know the answer to the question, so I decided to guess. So you're guessing here. But and then you'll notice right here we have guess, suspect, realize, and understand. Well, I think it's guess, so I'm going to put that one there. And then I go to the next one. We were amazed at how high the ball could. How high the ball could. I would say that's bounce. So I'm going to put it on bounce. And you continue, and let's see here. Your teacher can help you blank the tricky question. Your teacher can help you, I would say that's understand. And I'm going to go for another one that same color, because what these are is this game is on shades of meaning. So what's the difference between guess, suspect, realize, and understand? So the next one, when I play in the snow without mittens, my hands feel, I am wrong on that. My hands feel, this actually goes here, cool, chilly, freezing, or icy. Maybe freezing. But anyhow, I won't continue. But then what you would do is you would go ahead and you would grab the answer card, and the very first one says, I didn't know the answer to the question, so I decided to guess. And that is, we put that one in the correct spot. So the student will then be able to go self-correct how they did with that game. So those are folder games. These are designed to be done independently, and like I said, there's at least 8 to 10 in every one of these, and there's 4 total on the card. So definitely enough stuff there for everyone to have something. Next up on our cart, we have something called word work. This is a station, okay? It's called activity stations. And there are supposed to be about, I think, 3 more boxes coming with activity stations. And the way that these would be used in a classroom would be you'd set up an activity like a word work station, and you'd set up a vocabulary station and maybe a writing station, and then you'd have students, you know, maybe rotate through the stations. You can use your creativity. What's going to happen is you're going to get a little table tent. So, you know, you'd set up a table in the room, and this one has 4 different activities. It has word work activity cubes. So in here there's some cubes, and this and this are the same because you'd set that on a table, and no matter what angle, you know, somebody was sitting at, they could read the directions. So these are all of the directions for the activity. Here's a different activity. Word sorting. Build the word, another activity, and word search flip books. So in this kit, there are 4 different stations. So I'm going to go back to the very first one, which was, actually I'm going to go to the word sorting. Let's say we're going to set up the word sorting activity station. What happens is you have actually 4 different cards. So you could either just use one. So today maybe we're going to sort on syllables, 1 syllable, 2 syllable, 3 syllable, or how to make a word plural. Do we add S, ES, or IES? You know, so you could choose one and just have one sort out, or you could put out 4 and you could have 4 kids go to that station, and each child could be working on a different sort. And then you'll notice here are the tiles, and they're color coded. So these would be the tiles that would get used with the syllables. And there's more in here. It's just not fully open. You don't have to remember everything I'm telling you, because with any product that comes from Lakeshore, there are plenty of instructions. And not only will they give you the basic instructions and everything in there that you need, and little containers to hold everything, but you know, they will also give you extension ideas. So let's say you've used these a few times and the kids are starting to get bored. If you go into the directions and you go in a few pages, there will be extension activities. Those are different ways to use the materials other than how you've already been using them. So again, this is the word work activity station, and there are supposed to be more stations coming. Just don't have them just yet. Down here, I will just point out real quick that there are 3 board games. There's a 4th one that hasn't come in yet. This one is long vowels. This one's a word blending game, and this one's short vowels. But they're just fun board games. They look very engaging, so hopefully the kids like them. The last thing I have here, these are called match and sort language quickies. So they're designed to be pretty quick. But there's different themes. Again, phonics, language skills, vocabulary, and reading comprehension. So we're going to go ahead and take a look real quick here the way that these work. Again, there's plenty in here for just, I would say, every kid in your group. You got your instruction sheet. I'm going to skip that for right now because, honest to God, you don't need to read all of the instructions to be able to figure out what to do with these. So I'm going to pull this one out, and I would walk around. I'd give one kid, you know, this is main idea. I'd give somebody else compare and contrast, somebody else context clues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 of these, okay? So if you have 8 kids in your room that day, you are all set. Everybody could do one of these. So this is called What's the Main Idea? And here are the directions. That's it. Okay, so I've already read them, and I open this up, and I need to find my heading cards, main idea, and there should be, oh, here we go, detail, detail, and detail. So in these cards, which should be color-coded, right, here's the yellow set, so I'll focus on the yellow set. There's a pink, a blue, and there's a green set there. But in this, lost them, excuse me, in these 4, one is the main idea, and the other 3 are details. So she helped Helen understand her words and their meanings. She also taught Helen to feel sounds from Anne's throat, lips, and nose. Anne taught her the alphabet. At age 6, Helen Keller began working with a teacher for the blind, Anne Sullivan. So I believe that's my main idea, and then these are details. And then these are the answer cards. They're color-coded, and as a teacher or as the staff person, you could definitely hold on to these or just keep them, tucked in the box like right here, and then as you pass them out, have these in your hand, and when a kid says, I finished, okay, I'm going to come over and I'm going to check, and if you have them all right, then I'll give you a new one, or I'll have you switch, or maybe then you get to go grab a book and read. So here it gives yellow cards, pink cards. So there's the yellow cards, the main idea, and I can double check. Yep, I got it right. Awesome. You can also just pass them out to the kids and have the kids self-correct. It just depends. You know your students, best, how they will handle that. So one thing you're going to want to do is take time to make sure you clean everything up. And because so many of the things that I'm showing you require kids to handle them, and we're trying to be really safe with COVID-19, what I'm going to recommend is before anybody touches things on the cart, we all take a bathroom break and we all go wash our hands for a good 30 seconds. We come back, we work with the literacy cart, and then we all go wash our hands again. Because maybe there were germs left from the day before. So we always want to wash our hands thoroughly before and after using the items on the cart. Unfortunately, you can't clean a book. There is no way to clean a book. It shouldn't, we don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how long germs will last, but we're just going to do the best we can. We're not going to tell kids they can't read books because of COVID-19. We're just going to have to try to be safe. So I think I've showed you one sample of everything on the cart. Again, there are some things that just aren't on here yet because they didn't come in, but as they come, I will be sure to get them over to your clubs and sorted. So my name is Jennifer Raymond, and if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. Thank you so much for your time, and please, let's make reading fun and learning to read fun. Have a great day.